Hello, today we're in the bathroom again. That means it's going to be a hair video. Hopefully with a better view this time. So today you will need a few of these U-pins. I don't know how many you will need. That will depend on how long your hair is and how thick it is. And you'll need some of these mini elastic ties. Right, and I'm going to show you a few, and I think I will start off with an easy one. When I say it's easy, well, it is, but it still involves some work. So, first of all, it's just going to be a different kind of bun. Right. The easiest way, for this one I think I will use also one of these. Yes, one of these. So first of all, gather your hair. And make a pony. Now divide it in three and do an English braid. This is the easiest way of doing it. You can do it without the rubber band, but this is the easiest way to do it. So you English braid all the way down to the bottom and then tie it off with one of those mini elastic bands. I think I have to close the window, it's too noisy. Is that better? That is better, isn't it? Best, these hairstyles that I'm going to show you today, they're all braids, all with braids, are actually best if you don't do it on freshly washed hair. If your hair has a little bit of grip, it's better. Mine was washed 2 days ago and it's still very slippery. Nevertheless, I'm getting there. Okay, now what I'm doing, because one of my strands is very thin, I'm adding a bit from the thicker strand because I want to go right down to the bottom if I can. Another way of making it look very sleek is if you oil, once you've done your braid, you can oil that braid or smooth it down with some, what you call it, not hair gel, pomade, that's it, got it now. I had a blank there for a minute. So I'm just tying off my braid. And as I said, if you oil your hair prior to doing the braid or after, depending on the oil you use. If you're using thin oil, before is better. If you're using thick oil like coconut oil, after is better. But I don't want to be washing my hair tomorrow straight away again, so I'm not going to oil my hair. It's just going to look a little bit more messy. So now you need your U-pins. Okay, I've got quite a few. Oh, they're all upside down and so on. That wasn't very clever of me. Anyway, so here we go. Take a few U-pins in your hand. I've got 3 in my hand. And now wrap your braid nicely around. See that you can cover and pin down whilst you go. And see that you can cover that elastic band. Didn't get that properly. Pin those down. Right, I find it looks prettier if you can pin the braid sideways. If your hair's not as long, then you won't be able to pin it as much and go around as many times. Now here the ends get tucked in underneath. And get pinned in so that they don't slip out. Now I've got a little bit of hair sticking out. So there you go, that's your bun number 1 with the braid. That's the side. The top and the other side. As I said, it will look neater if you use a bit of oil, or if you're going to swimming or to the beach, for example, you can actually put hair conditioner in your hair. That will work the same. So that's style number 1. Let me undo this and I'll be back for style number 2. Okay, so I've undone my hair again. Style number 2 is also a braid, also involves braids, but this is a very classic hairstyle, and when I was young and I was still doing ballet and gymnastics, this is how we did it. So for that you will need, once again, one of these holders. Best if it's in the color of your hair, but if not, then you have got it. And a mountain of these. I think I've got enough here, but so now you normally go down the side and do a middle parting, or as good as a middle. I should have brought my comb in here as well. Good as a middle parting as you can get. Okay, and for this I will use some leave-in conditioner, and I'm going to use the olive oil one. Olive oil and Jamaican black castor oil. So for this I'm just going to spray a little into my hands, only 3 little squirts. Okay, you want this to be sleek. So maybe I'll need a little bit more. So you don't have that many flyaways. Okay, now brush your hair. Let me move all my pins and everything over here. Okay, you brush down. Once again, you start off with a ponytail. Okay, this one has to be a little higher up. My hair is not cooperating very well. I've got waves in it and they're making bumps. You want this to be as sleek as possible, not necessarily tight, but sleek. Okay, I can see my hair's not cooperating. I'm going to have to get a comb, guys. Wait a second. Right, I got my comb. Okay, let's do a bit more oil. Because you don't want the flyaways. Like that. And you want to smooth this down. Okay. And you want to tighten it so that this part is also tight. Right. That down here doesn't really matter, it's the sides and the top that matter. Right, now you're going to separate this ponytail into 3 bits. You can do more depending on the thickness of your hair, but I'd say the minimum of 2. Okay, now I've got 3 bits and all 3 are going to be English braided. Okay, so you braid it like as before, right down to the bottom. Once again, this hairstyle will look best if it's a little oiled. Doesn't have to look greasy or anything. I don't mean greasy as such, just oiled so that the little flyaways stay in place. See, this takes a little bit. I'm getting hot. I'm sorry, guys. With the window closed, it's super humid and I'm really hot. So this hairstyle will hold. You can wear it for yoga, for gymnastics, for swimming, for anything, for what you call a trampoline, anything. This will hold. Okay, there's another way of doing this, and that I'll film that another day. But let me show you the easy version first. So now I'm just going to tie off my ends here. The downside to this version is you will have ends. The other version that I will film another day, because that takes a little while longer. Takes longer in doing. But you don't have to take care of the ends in. Okay, so that's number one. So number two, you do exactly the same. Let me just check. Yep. Number two. In this humidity, my hair is not exactly smooth. It has a lot of flyaways. Right, I'll show you this from the side. Can you see? That's what it looks like from the back at the moment. For this hairstyle, I would say you will need at least shoulder blade length hair. The other style of the same sort that I will show you at a later stage, you can do with a little shorter hair. It only has to be shoulder length. God, I hope you're not getting bored watching this. Okay, I'm getting there. If you have a lot of layers in your hair, what you do is you twist the layers inward into the braid. Okay, I'm getting there. Ooh. Okay, I think that's as far as this one will go. Tie it off again with one of these mini elastics. Oh. Once more. There you go. Okay, so it's tied off. And this side. Now, let me just make sure I've got all bits here. I've not got loose bits hanging. Okay. I mean, this is not going to, I'm not a perfectionist today, but you get the idea. If you want your braids to be absolutely perfect, then just take longer in doing them and take more care, and or have someone else do them for you. Alright, third and last one. As I say, you need a minimum of 2 braids. 3 is good. If you've got very thick hair, 5 will look brilliant. My hair these days is not that thick, so 3 will do. Okay. Super hot. Once the braids thin out too much at the bottom, just tie them off. Mine are very thin now down there, so I'm tying off. If you have got a straight cut, then yours will be thick right down to the end. But as mine are done in a U shape, I don't have thick ends. Oh. Got my finger stuck in the elastic band. Here we go. Okay, now you'll need a mountain of those U-pins. Alright, so now here we have our 3 braids. Okay. Take a few of your U-pins into your hand. And now we start with the outer one first. So you go round and pin. Okay, I've pinned it to the top. Now I want to get this down flat a little, so I will pin the side down as well. I just dropped a pin, didn't I? I think it went into my blouse, so to my t-shirt. So go down to the side. And pin it down on the side. Okay. Go down to the bottom here. Pin that in place. Okay. Now you start with the second one, as in the middle one in our case. Pin the beginning down. Go over the top of the other. Pin that on top of the other. Down the side. Pin that. Okay, can you see? So I've still got my 2 strands here. Okay, I'm coming down this side with my second strand. I'm trying to get my muddled pins separated. Here we go. Pin that below. Okay, now third and last one. This is a bit tricky because now we're down below here, can you see? We don't want that sticking up too much, so we need to pin that down a bit and make it a bit flat. Pin it down. Come up with the third. Same principle. Pin that down on top of the other 2. Okay, can you see that? Okay, now we go, sorry, got the pin in my mouth. Now we go with the last one we started. Leave those 2 hanging and pin. Now you can see why I said you need a mountain of pins. And pin. To the side. And pin. Lay it over the top. Now they're getting thinner, so it's a bit more complicated with the pinning. Try to hide the pins. This one I didn't do a very good job of, I can see right now. Okay, now leave this alone and bring in the next one. Pinning from the bottom again. Pinning from the side, going up. Trying to lie it flat. Okay, that one I pinned a bit too early. Right, now I'm on to this next one, the longest one. And I'm starting to pin that from the top. And the side. And the bottom. Bringing it up the other side. Okay, now I'm coming to the wispy bit. So I'm first going to tuck in the wispy bit as good as I can, and then I'm going to pin the top. Right, next one. Pin that one down and come round first. Tuck the wispy bit in first. This is now going to get a bit more difficult because you've got so many pins in there, you've got to find space to tuck the ends in. Okay. And then pin this down. Okay, last one. Hope you can see this, guys. I'm trying to be in the camera for all the parts. Pinning this down. Feeding in the wispy bit now. I think I had about 45 pins in here, and I've used nearly all of them. So there you go. That is the second. Oh, and I've got a pin stuck to me. See how hot it is? See how hot it is? It's stuck to me. Okay, I have, out of 45, I have 2, hang on, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9 pins I have left out of 45. So there it is. And you see, if you have a stronger oil to keep this down, then you don't have as many flyaways. But this bun won't go anywhere. You can do anything with it. And it still looks pretty from the side, from the top. And it will stay. And from the bottom. As I said, it will look sleeker if you have oil on it. So, hair part number 3 with braids. Let me undo this and I'll be back with you. Okay, back to the third one. For this is an easier hairstyle. You only need one tie. Doesn't even have to be a small one, but I think a small one looks prettiest. So once again, brush your hair back, make sure it's tangle free. You can see my hair's flying away today, but there you go, that's the way it is. Right, so for this, you want to take a section upwards from your ears upwards and separate that out from the rest. Okay, like that. All right, so you want to bring that up high. And this is an ancient Celtic hairstyle. It's an original. There were actually mummies found with this hairstyle. So for this you will also do the English braid. So divide that into 3. Well, I'm going to have to do that again. My division was done badly. It was too out of sync. Okay. My middle section was too thin. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, so for this hairstyle you want to pull it tight on the top of your head. This is what it looks like from the front. And you want to braid down. Just a regular English braid. Did I miss a bit here? Hang on, let me see what I've done here. No, that just belongs down here, that's all. It's all right. Okay. I brought in hair from the bottom by mistake. Okay, let's see. How far down am I? Right, when you've reached about this height, actually I'm a bit too high up now, too low down. So I've got to undo a little bit. Here we go, I've still got my 3 sections. It's because I can't really see what I'm doing, got my arms in the way. Okay, now you bring in from the sides, you bring in hair. A bit like the French braid now. bring in all the hair. You can use a U-pin for this as well if you want to later, but first of all you're doing is English braiding. Okay, I'm just bringing mine forward. Okay, so your English braid right down to the bottom. I've tangled my hair. I need to brush it through, sorry guys. This hairstyle used to be worn by ladies of status. But also the men used to have long hair, and they had their own hairstyles. So what I'm doing, I'm just braiding right down to the bottom again. You don't have to go all the way down. I think it looks nicer if it's not all the way down to round about here. And now I'm going to use my little elastic band. In ancient times, of course, they didn't use elastic bands, but their hair was also of a different texture. It was, number one, wasn't so slippery because they didn't have quite the same nutrition, and number two, they didn't wash their hair very often, so it was a lot stickier. So they didn't need elastic bands, or if they needed a band, they used leather or wool or whatever they had. Right, so now I've got this little bit left. Okay, now what they did was feed this through like that, once or twice, and then depending on how much hair you want left, they fed the last bit through and made virtually a knot and left it like that. All right. But if you think this is going to come undone, you can use a pin to secure it. They wore theirs to the side like that, or hanging down. Or if you don't like that look at all, you can always go all the way around and bobby pin it to the top like that. Oops, I missed it. That's a good one. I put the pin in but missed the little tail. So that's an ancient Celtic way of a bun. Okay, the longer the hair is, the better it is. You can choose to do only one cycle and leave the rest hanging down, or put it all up like that. So that is my third hairdo today, the ancient Celtic hairdo. That's it for today. Bye!